Hey, another exciting day here in Kernersville, North Carolina, the tech capital of the world. I'm Bobby Davis, CEO and founder of Foundry. Hey, Kevin, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Good.
It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm
It is.
inside
It
teaching
is.
about JavaScript objects. So
Yeah. What you been teaching this morning?
JavaScript objects. So we're doing that.
Okay. Yeah, I know you just got back. You've just been in class all morning. Well, we haven't spoken. Like just briefly, really
Right, I
quickly. But
know.
we haven't spoken today. You've been busy, busy, busy.
Yeah. So actually, I do teach the class every now and then.
Yeah.
Got
Show
a
up
bunch of
sometimes. I
smart
like
dudes in
it.
there right now, ladies, smart dudes and ladies that are working hard. So
That's nice. Yeah, we got a good class this time.
yeah.
So I keep hearing. That's good stuff. Hey, YouTube added a new feature.
Okay, what's
Yeah.
that? I haven't looked.
Here you go. I'm gonna just throw it out there in chat. Apparently, there's now a poll in chat.
Oh, we got to do a poll then, right?
So we can do it. We can do polls now. So
Okay.
there we go. I put out a poll. It just said Mac or PC. So we'll see what we'll see what happens.
Okay. Right.
I don't know the rules. I don't know how it works. I don't know like the how it.
Right.
I guess. Oh, I guess I get to end it at any point. So there you go. You guys can vote on it. Mac or PC.
I mean,
Preference or what
went,
you use.
you should have went hardcore as HTML programming language. That's what you should have went after.
We'll do that one next. We'll do that one next.
So
We'll do that one
I
next.
follow a guy and he was made a comment. He's like helps people find jobs, and so he made a
Yeah.
comment like, "Hey, of all the skills you list on your resume, HTML shouldn't be the first skill you listed." And
Okay,
you would
interesting.
think that he had killed baby seals or something. I mean, like it was just insane the amount of like hate that
Well,
people. So HTML is a skill, and all these people were talking about all this HTML stuff that you need to know before you
yeah.
can ever do it. And like most people don't know that div tag class equals button is bad.
No,
And like
this is the thing. It is one of those things that once you know, you definitely take it for granted. So you can see his point of being like, "Wow, it's kind of like, of course everybody knows it."
you're applying for a senior front end role. Like that's not your main goal. Like
No,
does
it's
your
true.
stack align with the stack
It's-
we're using?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
it's true.
HTML is
Yeah.
like a given.
Well, there's kind of well,
So
it's
I
kind of
wanted to comment, but I didn't want to step into this world. But for me, and I'll do it on my YouTube channel, like it's almost like you put like Microsoft Word on your resume. Like
I was just gonna say that exact
no
same
need to do
thing.
that.
I see that all the time. So we're working with students' resumes. They'll send me something and be like Microsoft like Office. And be like, yeah, that's a given. That's like it's like the old days where you would put like computer proficient. That you drop that,
Yeah.
right? So now you need to drop
Yeah.
Office. And you're right, for a developer, maybe you don't need to say at least for a web
No,
developer, I guess you
it's
don't
just
need to say.
not
I don't
number
know.
one. It should be at the bottom. Like in other words, like
Yeah.
I guarantee you, what his point was, HR people are looking at resumes for they said a study like 7 seconds.
Yeah. You're right. And
So
you don't
they're
want the first
looking
thing
at
to
the
see
skills
HTML. Okay,
section,
yeah.
and they say HTML, they're like, whatever, dude. Like, it should say React number one if that's their
Yeah.
ASP.NET or C Sharp.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
the other ones are later on down.
I
They're
think
just order of importance.
see, exactly. And I think that's something we probably do wrong a lot is order of importance on something like a resume, because we tend to go in the order that we think of them in, and we think of like how we learn them, and we think of HTML and CSS and JavaScript as the first things we learn, so we put those at the top. And you're right, we should reverse it. We should flip that.
You should put the thing at the top for the
That is
main
the most
thing
important.
you're interviewing for.
Yeah.
So like if you're in for a C Sharp role, it should say C Sharp. They shouldn't have to look down through the history of your learning and figure out, do they know C Sharp? They put it last. I mean, like,
Right.
oh, but I learned Power Builder and Delphi and Pascal first, and I'm going to put that at the top, and of course HTML,
Yeah.
So
No, you're
then
right. That is
the
kind of
thing-
weird.
But the thing that I thought was weird about this whole discussion was the amount of HTML that these people were telling you that you need to put on your resume. Like you need to put about semantics, and like you need to make sure you clearly define like all of these things. I'm like, man, you would write like paragraphs on this crap in the top section of your resume. And what all he was trying to say, it's not that that's not important. It's just not the most important thing.
Right. And that
But
makes
go ahead.
sense.
Put semantically correct HTML wizard on the top of your resume, and just tell me how that works out for you. So I'm just trying to give you a hit. Just put the broad, most important things at the top. Put the other things that are less important.
Yeah,
So-
that totally makes sense. So yeah, so top tip for everybody: go look at your resumes. If HTML is the first thing in your skill section, switch it.
Switch it, and you can complain about it. and you can be like all of these people complaining about like how people don't know this or that. It's that's not what the point is. The point is to make sure the non-technical HR recruiter looks at your resume and pulls it off the stack and says, I'm going to pass these to the dev manager interview. That's all a resume is
That's
for.
your goal. Right.
In the tech world, that's all it's for. These things also get auto scanned, and you need to format it to pass the scanner. It's not a state of the industry type thing. We don't need to argue about it. It's the way it is. And
right.
We're not saying that you don't need to know HTML. We're just saying that in the list of important skills section, your main language is, if you're applying for React roles, React should be the first thing on that in that skill section.
Speaking of React, look, Paul's doing exactly this. He's making exactly this mistake on his resume. I guarantee you most people are. I will guarantee most people are. I think most people are making that same mistake. So Paul's just honest about it. So we'll move React to the top of yours. Yeah, definitely.
Because I think the scanners will go through the skill section and try to parse it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's another thing you might think about. So if you've written code, you would understand this. But like, you read a lot of code, and then so we don't know how a skill section is going to be parsed. All right. Right. So let's say that you have React listed down there at like the 8th element of what you're doing. You got HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, Tailwind, and you got everything else. And then you lose a comma somewhere along the way, and that scanner breaks and it just pulls back.
right.
You won't get hired. Like, it's just like you get thrown out,
Right.
And it's not it's your fault. So like, you want to make sure that first element that's in that skill section is the one you want people to see, which is, I'm interviewing for React jobs or C#, ASP.NET. It's just,
that makes total sense.
Word of advice. We can fight it all we want. But.
So, results of our poll are in: 64% PC, 35% Mac, out of 39 votes. That's higher Mac than I thought it was going to be.
64% PC.
Yeah. Okay, 35% Mac is higher than I thought it was going to be, though.
All right, I like it.
Oh, that's interesting. There you go. I put up a new poll.
Display the poll here on the screen. I guess we can't do it.
No, we can't. It's not a feature yet. I don't think it doesn't come up. It doesn't come across to. No, it doesn't. It doesn't come across to vMix as a comment. Okay. So maybe that's a future thing they're doing. But yeah, that's interesting.
Talk to vMix, man. Tell me step their game up.
So I put up the poll now. Is HTML a programming language? If you guys want to vote on that, that'd be awesome. And some of you are gonna be wrong. Just letting you know. Some of you are gonna be wrong. Some of you are already wrong. So
it's the defining trait of our day.
It is. It's so divisive. Isn't
How you think about that?
It's kind of crazy. So divisive. It's pretty funny. Okay, we'll do usual Q&A today. By the way, if you guys have questions, throw them in chat, and I will get to those. I haven't queued any up so far. One thing to talk about first, though, before we do that, and again, we haven't talked about this, but did you see this? That's Microsoft putting PCs in the cloud with a product called Windows 365. So it's their PC virtualization platform, I guess. Like it's gonna. The intention is that it's for businesses. Like, this is not new, right? I think we've had this for a while. Really we've had this for a while. They're just done a different way, and I guess what they're saying is it's like it's a trusted product because it's from Microsoft. They're aiming it's purely for businesses. One of the cool things is and one of the benefits of having this is if you're a business, you now have remote workers, or you got somebody who's working on an iPad or on a phone, or it works in any web browser. It keeps the state of the PC constant, which is kind of nice. So you can use it across different devices, which is kind of nice. But they're saying it's going to be more affordable and just a better experience, apparently, for companies to set up. They're saying you can get one of these set up for a new employee in less than 10 minutes, which apparently isn't the way with the other systems. It's a little bit more convoluted. So
the question is, can you run Destiny on that? That's the question.
See, I do wonder about the limitations of it. Right? Like, what are the limitations of it? So, from a technology standpoint, though, by the way, they're saying you can go from as low as a single CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, and 64 gigs of storage, up to 8 CPUs, 32 gigs of RAM, and 512 gigs of storage. So, not super high end, but still an 8 CPU virtual kind kind of remote PC is kind of interesting. I wonder if you could play a game on it.
Or could you edit video with Premiere? I mean, like,
right, like exactly.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah, I wonder.
Like the hard drive and all that memory stuff and GPU that you'd want. I think it's just office worker stuff. I think that's the use case. Microsoft's like, give me a break, man. We can't play Halo on this thing.
Well, this is true. They haven't said in their release that you can play Halo on it, so I'm guessing you can't, because otherwise they would have done, right? Although they do have that remote, gaming cloud thing, which kind of works, kind of. I tried playing Destiny on my phone through it. It's like you couldn't play multiplayer.
What's the controls on your phone? You like?
Well, use a pad. Your Xbox remote can connect to your phone via Bluetooth. So I did that, and I was playing on the remote, but the lag was like, it's
crazy lag.
You're not going to play multiplayer on it. Put it that way.
I was playing
I played a little bit of campaign. No, I played a little bit of like the campaign, just running around, just shooting some random stuff in the thing, and it's like, it's playable and it looks okay, but it's like the lag is just too much. For it to be, to be a great experience. So, HTML poll, 50 votes, 60% of you guys are correct. You said no.
It says language at the end of the.
Yeah, but it says markup language. It doesn't say programming language. So 40% of you are wrong. That's crazy. Valentino says 60% of people are wrong. That's funny. That is funny. Sorry if you think that it is, because it's not. That's my divisive opinion.
It's just divisive, man.
Back to our other question too. Brent says desktop PC, MacBook Pro laptop. I'm inclined to kind of agree with this at the minute, because that's kind of my setup too.
After pushing this course out, I was talking to you about it. Like, what I'm going to do is, like, once I get at another place, is I'm buying a content creator PC. I'm doing the MacBook.
Yep.
I just need more power.
Yeah. The portability is nice, but the power is what you really need.
Yeah, and then I'm just chained to my office anyway. So, like, do I really use it? It never leaves my desk. I mean, so like.
Yeah.
I like parts of it. So when I go back to Maui and start doing some Maui stuff later in the year, I'll probably be using the MacBook because I have to have an Apple device to do it. But like, man, if you're just like cranking something on Visual Studio or content creating, rendering out a video, man, I'm gonna put it on a desktop PC.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get that NZXT Creator. That's the one to get.
They're good. I did the custom NZXT and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And they actually have graphics cards too, by the way. You can get them from them.
Yeah.
They do have them at MSRP prices too. So there might be a wait on the build, but you can get them. And it's generally the only way you can buy one these days, unless you can find one that like you can buy in a split second and beat out a scalper, is to go through one of these PC builders. But you got to buy the whole PC, right? You're going to spend $4,000 on it. But the issue is you're going to spend $2,000 on a video card anyway. So you might as well get the rest of the PC thrown in with it.
Upgrade the edit bay here, and we looked at it. I paid double.
Yeah, you paid double
and the
for a mid-range card.
It was on Amazon. His name was Atlanta Flippers. I mean, that was his name. I'm not even hiding this, man.
Yeah,
I'm flipping this thing.
Yeah, and we're not talking like 3090s or 3080s here either. These are mid-range cards. This is a 3060. This is a low-end card, technically, in the scope of things. So it's like even those cards are still hard to find. You still got to pay double for them. It's crazy.
Hopefully it'll come back.
All
right, let's get some questions. We'd like to talk to you, see what's up.
Yeah. Throw some questions in there. I'll talk about.
Can't do that with a Mac. I feel ridiculous. You said, can't do that with a Mac. It felt salty to me. Was that salty?
I think that's I think it is. I think it is, and it's true. You can't. I mean, that's one of the big things about a Mac is you can't. That is one of the downsides to it. I agree / disagree with this. Like my PC, Mac costs way too much. At a certain price point, you can buy a $400 PC. You can't buy a $400 Mac. The lowest Mac is $1,000, but I guarantee you it competes with PCs that are in the same price range of $1,000. Your $400 PC is not good as a $1,000 Mac. I guarantee it.
No, I think too at the super high end.
The super high end, it's exactly the same price.
Same price, man.
We've looked. We've spec'd out high end Macs and we spec'd out high end PCs for video production. You're paying the same price. You think there's a premium? There's not. It's practically the same.
Now, if you want wheels on your Mac toaster, I mean, yeah, there's that. So.
I mean, but that's just silly, isn't it? I mean, yeah. You can make it ridiculous, like that's.
But yeah, silly. If you're getting 64 gigs, 128, 168 gigs of RAM on the Mac toaster thing, it gets kind of high end. But if you went to a company called like BoxX, RenderBox,
yep.
And you start getting those, I mean, they're kind of the same kind of deal. Like,
yeah, they
expensive.
are. Yeah, we're talking 10 yeah, exactly. You're talking about 10 grand for like something that's gonna, be high end. And the same thing with those, the Mac Pros. They're in the same price range. So
right,
it's,
cool.
I think it's one of those. It's a little bit of a misnomer that they're more expensive.
I said that sound bad, so I'm gonna pull the mic down here.
Oh, push it up a little bit.
Sorry.
There you go.
There you go. All right, maybe that sounds a little better. Does that sound better?
Yep, that's better.
All right, cool.
That's better. I do agree with this too, though. Just one quick thing before we move on from this is that PCs need the MacBook Trackpad. If you're on that MacBook Trackpad on a laptop is, I mean, so far in advance of anything I've played with on a PC laptop. I've had a couple of different PC laptops. I had an HP one and an IBM one, and they were terrible compared to the Mac. Terrible. The Mac just has it down.
I have a trackpad, a Mac trackpad that's separate from my MacBook that I just have on my desk.
Yep.
And I solely use it to swipe parallels back and forth, but it does work.
Okay. So. You can just do that with like a button or something, right? Just have like a little button, you just hit and it just
probably, but I have it for.
But
swiping.
you have a $100 trackpad to swipe between the two. I think that's called overkill.
In my setup, I have like a keyboard, a trackpad, and a mouse, and my MacBook is like off to the side. I'm never over there on the Mac side, and I just have the two monitors. So like I don't use the Mac keyboard ever. So
yeah.
So I bought the trackpad in case I ever wanted to use trackpad stuff, but it seems like I'm just swiping between parallels, Windows and Mac. So I probably could use it more. I probably get more training on it.
Yeah, it does all kinds of stuff. Definitely, the gestures on it are really good. They really are. Yeah. That's what when I went from a Mac laptop to a PC laptop, I was like, oh man, the trackpad doesn't do half the stuff. It just wasn't as good. Yeah. Okay. Let me see here. What was I was going to say? People provide politics programs started with HTML as a language. True. That is it.
We do, man. It's kind of crazy. It's just kind of silly.
And I'm shocked that so many of you are wrong. Just throw that out there again. Let me get rid of that one.
My point I've always said is like programming may not be a programming language, but try building a website without HTML.
Yes.
And then someone says I could. I'm like, no, you can't, man. Just go away.
I mean, if it was a programming language, it would be called HTPL. Right? I mean, that's what it would be called, but it's not. So it can't be a programming language. Okay. Kev said, how do you set up SSH on VS Code to connect to Bluehost or GoDaddy server? You ever done that?
Oh, I can't tell you how to do that live here. So
you have to look it up. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I'd have to Google that one, man, just to see what I got to do.
You know what's great?
It's really not about VS Code. It's just about SSH.
Yeah. Yep.
So you got to set that up and get that going, and then you just connect over to it. So
you know, it's like magic, though. If you haven't yet done it in the course, the whole Git continuous integration with Netlify is like magic. Yeah. It is total magic.
Yeah, you just push to it, and then Netlify's watching the main branch, and then it pulls it from main.
I wonder if you can do that with other hosts, like a GoDaddy or something. I don't know if you can. Oh, I think we maybe lost Bobby there. Let me see. Let's just sit him on the screen, look, like that. Let's not do that. Let me just fix something here real quick. Oh, super chat. Thank you so much. You got no comment there though. But thank you for the super chat. If you have a question, throw it up. We will we'll get to it. Hold on, let me take Bobby off the screen until he comes back, because that's just weird staring at him. She says the L stands for language. Yeah, but it doesn't stand for programming language. So it's a markup language. Still, you don't believe it's a programming language, do you, Ashim? You're too smart to think that. Let me queue up some more questions here. But yes, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. If you do have a question, again, throw it up. You just say, good job on the course. Well, cool. Thank you. We appreciate it. We're still working hard on the course too, by the way. We're still adding stuff to the course as we go along. Obviously, we still have some bigger sections we're working on. The Movie Pro part of the course and the blog part of the course. We're kind of wrapping up those to push those out. So those will be coming very, very soon. We're just working on the encoding and all that kind of stuff with that stuff, which unfortunately just takes a minute. But we're getting there. And we will get there. So I'll ask Bobby this one when he comes back. We've had internal debates about SQL or SQL plenty of times. And I remember at one point we looked out on the internet and there's a video of Bill Gates saying the word SQL. So we thought, can Bill be wrong? Probably not. So we're going to go with what Bill says. And we've always used SQL anyway. I know technically there's supposed to be a correct way of saying it being SQL due to some copyright thing or something, but who cares? Like, we're not going to get in trouble. So I like SQL. I'm going to queue up some more of your things here. See, he's just throwing his hands up. He doesn't want to put his hat in any one of those realms. Okay. I will queue up some more of your questions till he comes back to you. Hey, here he is. He's back.
I'm back.
Okay, will there be a Zoom presentation this Friday? Yes, there will. I'll be setting that up this afternoon. I will put details within the course, so I'll add that later today. It'll be a Zoom, but for tomorrow. I'm not sure what time yet. We haven't discussed the exact details. But it will be tomorrow at some point. So, I was just queuing up questions while you were gone. Let me see here.
I think we're going to talk about CI/CD this Friday with Netlify.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, because it is like magic. I told you when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, this is like super, super good.
All right. We had a lot of questions and fixing up some forms.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Something went down wrong.
I can mute you. You need one of those like mute buttons.
I know. I'm trying to look at that right now.
See, I have my own one. If I'm gonna do something or like cough or something,
yeah,
and then I come back.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go here. Debo says, can you explain more about the bug tracker roles? Like what each role is allowed / restricted to do? Also in the demo, you didn't click on the Manage Project Users tab. Can you explain more about that?
Okay. So in our bug tracker project, there are multiple roles. You have a developer role, which allows you to change the status of a ticket. You have a submitter role that allows you to add a ticket to the system. And then you have an admin role, which can do everything. And then we have a project manager role that can also add users and assign developers to a ticket. So there's some other things in there, but in general, that's kind of what it is. So as a developer, you'll get a ticket in, and then you can change the status of that ticket that's assigned to you, but you can't change other tickets. The project manager can assign developers to tickets and manage tickets in the project that they're in. The admin sits above all projects, and then a submitter can just submit a ticket to the system. So I kind of hope that helps a little bit.
Okay, let's see. You ever use VS Code for Django? You ever done
Nope.
it with Django? So,
I've never used Django, so I haven't done that. So I've been staying with doing what I do, and I'm sure that it's fantastic though.
I'm
Just
sure
because,
I'm sure there's a plugin for it, right? That's
yeah, and I'm sure
generally
it's
the way for
fantastic.
everything.
I mean, I'm just sure it's great. So,
Let me see. Ram says, is there a potential for open source projects to make good amount of money just off donations, or is it a bad idea and not that profitable?
Ram, my feeling is it's not that profitable. That's my feeling, but I would maybe search up and see what people are doing on donation wise. That's my feeling. And I just take Wiki as an example. They're always asking for donations.
They are. Yeah, go to Wikipedia. It's like every other time you go, it's like donation, donation, donation.
Yeah. So like that's my feeling. I think the better avenue is to build something that's of value and as a system, and then just push that out there and get people to buy it based on the value of what the system does. Now, what you can do with open source projects is you give away the software for free, and then you make money by consulting with it or installing it or enhancing it or whatever. I mean, so you build a company around the open source project itself. But far as people just donating money to you, I don't know if they do or not. I could be wrong about that, but I think there's a better way to do it. So,
right. Okay. Let's talk about this real quick. This is, we've talked about this before, but it's kind of funny. Recruiters be like, why everyone have a bug tracker? Firstly,
I don't think everyone does.
Yeah. Firstly, they definitely don't. So we'll say, let's say that. So right now, obviously, there's, a bunch of people in the course making the bug tracker eventually. Not everybody's going to make it in the course, right? I know that for sure.
Right.
They're just not. People will quit. That's just inevitable in a course like this. So let's take the video, for example. Our one coding project video has 800 and something thousand views, right? How many of those people who viewed that video do you think have made the bug tracker? I will tell you it is a very, very, very small percentage.
Yep.
It is very small. So don't think that everyone even has one.
But so, people make fun of us, hey, build a bug tracker, but like everyone has a to-do list too. I mean, like,
right.
So,
right.
I mean, like, the question is, here's the thing. Let's say that you do have a bug tracker and everyone else has a bug tracker. Number one, does yours work? Number two, can you talk about it? Can you use that as an opportunity to turn a question about back-end technology into a demo of the code base inside your bug tracker? And that's what it's for. Recruiters aren't going to go look at that. Oh, I've seen a million of those. I mean, they're not going to do that. It's your opportunity to sell that, to turn that into an interview opportunity. Second, okay, you build a bug tracker. You can build something else. I mean, you don't have to stay with that one. I mean, you can build Movie Pro. You can build other things. So I don't see it. It's not a negative in my opinion.
No, definitely not. Plus, if the angle is not just everybody having one, but why do they have a piece of software like a bug tracker? Why is it not like a Netflix clone or something?
Right.
We talk about that a lot, being like a piece of software that they're familiar with. So there's that angle too, if that's sort of what you're thinking.
Yeah. So I think it's still a good project, still valid.
Definitely.
Thanks, Cheddar.
Okay, your thoughts on Maui?
I think it's huge, man. Like I've been talking to customers. A lot of people are moving over to .NET 6, so like I think it's huge. We're going to be diving deep into it later in the fall. I think Preview 6 just came out for .NET.
Yep.
So just as soon as that gets more stable, but I think this is the biggest .NET release to date. The biggest thing they've done to date would be .NET 6, which is just Maui and what they're going to do. It's going to be game changer.
Definitely. Here you go. I would agree with this. Most comments on the one coding project video like, this is too hard. You don't need to build this. And this is true. We do get that comment a lot.
Yeah.
Go look. There's a lot of those comments on there. So I'd say it's less than 1%, and I would also say that it is less than 1%. It's not even 1%.
Hard. It is hard. I mean, it is big. I mean, it's massive. But like, you're trying to interview for positions where they build big and massive things. I mean, learn how to build big and massive things. I mean, like that's
Yeah,
the job.
you got to prove you can do the job. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to win with tic tac toe, man. It's just hard to win, man. That thing better be awesome. Yeah,
And even then, how awesome can it be? That's we've talked
that's
about this. We talk
exactly.
about this a lot. Like, what is like the best, most highest version of tic tac toe that you can think of? And then it's like, is that even still good enough? Probably
Yeah,
not. Like, it's just
yeah. I mean, to me, if I was going to build a game like that, I'm building some type of rock paper scissors type thing that has 3 components or 4 components and multiple win conditions. But then you're just moving into game programming. If you're not interviewing for game programming, then build a business app like a bug tracker. You know.
yep, yep. I was going to answer. I'm going to put this question on the screen. Don't answer it. Okay, and I'll tell you why in a second.
Okay.
I was going to ask this question, Ashish. Please have a little patience, because now we're not going to talk about it. Sorry.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry.
he got offensive in comments, so sorry, not sorry.
Oh,
Go somewhere else, please. I'm just going to ban you from the channel. Thanks for coming by. Seriously, man.
never put the hammer bed. I don't know what happened. What happened in comments, man? Something like
I don't think everybody can see it, so it's fine. He's
Okay.
now hidden from the channel, so it's
All
just,
right.
jeez, man, some people like I don't get it, but there you go.
The hammer band.
We have a new channel member on the other side of this, which I'm super grateful for, and this is Baby Cakes.
Yeah.
So it is a brand new channel member. Thank you for becoming a channel member. We really appreciate it. And I was going to get your question anyway, so that's good. How do you feel about full stack developer roles that require you to know a front end framework plus back end?
I think that's the gig for full stack. You got
It's
to
the
know
new
them both.
thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the gig. I mean, so like if you're flying for a full stack role, you've got to know the front end a framework of some port. So there's Angular, there's React, and then there's things like ASP.NET or Spring MVC. That's kind of the how you build your front end. You're going to have to know about JavaScript. You're going to have to know about HTML and CSS, and then you have to build your back end. So that's just the way. That's the expectation that they're hiring for. They're looking for people that can do both. You don't have to be a designer per se, but you better know how to lay out pages and know something about UI and know how to communicate that UI to the back end. So whether that's React, ASP.NET, or Angular, you have to know how to do that. That's the gig. It's not impossible though. You can learn it if you don't already. Yep. Hope that helps.
Okay. Kimmy, thanks for the question. Says, I signed up for the bootcamp. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool.
I just completed a BS in business admin, IT management, just to have IT in my degree title. I hope that was more than the reason. I hope you actually learned something doing that.
Exactly.
Do you think my degree will be helpful? How can we learn more about freelancing?
Okay, so yeah, I think the degree helps to some degree. You got a degree, that's fine. I mean, and now you sign up for a boot camp, learn how to code. So the degree can help you pass some minimum requirements. Some companies say you got to have a BS in something, and then you show your projects off and how you get and that's how you win a role, by showing your projects at the interview level, and you'll get projects from the boot camp hopefully. So just build all those projects, show them off, show your degree. I think it'll help. So freelancing is more difficult. You're going to have to start small and aim big and just try to find clients. Part of it's sales. So you got to go to websites to start out with, I think. And then find a way to acquire customers is the hard part. It's really about sales more than about doing the work. So.
Yep. There you go. One other quick thing here too, for those just joining us who have never joined us before. If you also spam in chat, I'm not gonna get to your question. Sorry.
Yeah. So I guess
just ask it once.
Nightbot's
not doing his job today. I'm having to do his job for him. But that's okay. Matthew says 3D tic-tac-toe with AI playing against you. See, this is what we've talked about. We've definitely talked about that, being like, is an AI version of tic-tac-toe even good enough? Well, no, because it's kind of like, I feel like I could program an AI version of tic-tac-toe. It has definitive rules that are very, very simple to program.
Well, number one, it's like, check if it's in the corner. I don't know if you need AI. You need like 3 checks, you know,
Right.
I mean, is it in the center or is it in the corner? I mean, like, and then if they put it in one of the middle ones, you like, you just write the function, I win. I mean, so.
Yeah, I think it's too simplistic of an idea. We've said, if you're going to do something like that, maybe something like Connect 4 is a better
Connect 4
version of
but
it.
then you're just moving into game programming. So like just learn game programming, and then it's like, even then, let's say that I built Connect 4 and I'm interviewing for game companies. You're still not going to win. It's like, you know, can you do something better than that? I mean, you could build a cool one. I mean, I guess you could, but like, you know.
Maybe putting some kind of like visualization over it or something would be kind of interesting.
To make the UI kind of
to make the UI more interesting. Yeah. Maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's like the Harry Potter version of it or something. You know, something is kind of like a little more abstracted away from what it obviously is. Which is a tic-tac.
Or you just have a gun and you have to shoot the right hole that you want to drop your coin in. You know,
that's funny. That's
first person shooter Connect 4.
The thing is, like that's like the American answer to this. Is like, throw a gun in it. Like,
let's throw a gun in the game, and you know, we have to shoot it from different levels to hit the right one. You know, and you have like less than a second to shoot it. You know, that kind of stuff.
There you go.
That's a game right there.
Really crazy version of tic-tac-toe. Stephen says, I'm taking a few Udemy courses and other online courses about front end, and they pretty much don't mention Git and GitHub. I like how Sea of Stress's GitHub are now easy deploying to Netlify. Yes, I totally agree.
We do it from day one. Like, if you're not using GitHub, you're doing it wrong. Like, and because you just don't have version control, and you don't have a way to back up your code. There's just a lot of things that you need to be doing. So like, we're trying to teach you to be a professional developer. So that's it. I mean, like, you know, it's just a skill you got to have, you know. If you go to a company that doesn't have source control, then you need to show them how to implement it as well. So I think that's pretty,
that would be a killer thing to bring in the door, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Hey, look, Jen says got confused with the book tracker, built an insect finding app instead.
Jen's all right.
That could be an interesting app.
Yeah, you could identify them by pictures. Use the AI to look at pictures and identify the bug.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Something like that.
That would be cool.
You can build train it on a set of pictures and figure that out. That would be very cool.
Huh. That would. There you go. An actual bug finder app, because you could show up and be like, yeah, I've got a bug tracker. Then you pull it up and like, oh, I see what you did there. You've got a bug tracker.
The big one would be birds. So I think that if you really wanted the one that would be very useful is the bird finder.
Where you took like a picture and then it told you what like bird it was.
Yeah, I think that would be like, there's a lot of birders out there. There's probably a big degree of demand for something like that. I know still using books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have some birders in my family that.
Do you? Okay.
Go around.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. My brother had a rare bird in his yard, and people came from miles around to see this bird.
Really?
They were, like, parking on his driveway, knocking on his door, because he's into that, so he put it on Facebook, and then
everyone wanted
super rare for some reason, and then everyone wanted to come and see it, and they were just like, you know, pitching tents in his front yard. And he's like, dude, why'd I do this? I'm like, I have no idea, man. You're supposed to take a picture of it, but not tell them where you live. Don't put it on Facebook. But, you know, hey.
That's funny. Look, here's another.
So I feel like that could help.
Poisonous snake finder app. Great Wi-Fi. Yes.
I can just see it now. You're like, hey, you got your phone up. Is that
exactly.
Poisonous?
Is this poisonous? You're like, why? Did it bite you? You're like, yeah. Well, I was getting this photo.
Check real quick. Yeah. So
that's funny.
Pretty much, here's the deal. If you live in Australia, it's probably poisonous. You know, if you're out west, it's probably poisonous. I mean, you know,
North Carolina,
we have a couple. North Carolina.
Yeah, we have a couple.
Cottonmouth. So if you're near a like a creek or something like that, it's a good chance it could be poisonous because it's cottonmouth.
Most of the ones around here. So we have a big one that like lives
black snakes.
Like in our backyard, just a black snake. But it's big. I mean, it's a decent size. It's, you know, It's probably 4 feet long.
What's eating rats? And it
I'm okay with it.
Away.
Exactly. I'm okay with it. Let it stay out there. It eats all the other stuff that I don't want to come over here. So.
And it also makes sure that a poisonous snake will never be in your house.
There you go.
Because they kill poisonous snakes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. That's good. I've left it out there because I know it eats other bugs and stuff, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, Jamal, thank you for the question. It says recommendation for learning clean code.
I mean, there's books on that, so I would read the books and see what they what their value.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally that clean code book.
Yeah,
I would look at that. Maymar says, what skills are required for a web developer?
I think web development skills we teach here full stack. So we're thinking HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript. That's the front end, and then some kind of server side language and a SQL language. Server side being C#, SQL being some kind of SQL skills. And then in between that, you also got to know something about Link, some kind of ORM. So that's kind of the gig there. It seems like a lot, but as you start building projects, you realize these things are necessary for you to build them, and so you'll learn them. They're hard to learn all in silos, so just learn them by building a project. And suddenly you realize, oh, I know what ORMs are. I know how to write link statements. I can write SQL, So, but there's a lot to know.
You could join our virtual bootcamp, learn.codefoundry.com.
Yeah, you can do that.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Totally shameless plug. We also got another new member. Look.
No, one guy's not joining today. We banned him from the channel, so we didn't.
That's okay. It happens. I'll tell you what he called you afterwards because it's not polite.
Oh wow, he called me names. Okay. I'm hurt now. Ban him.
That's it. Yeah, you were like, please don't. But I'm like, no. Let me get the hammer out. Hold on. No, look, our recent members over. Where are we? Over here. Look, we got another one.
Okay. See, Alantino and Baby Cakes.
Yeah. Alantonio / Alantino is our newest member, and Baby Cakes from earlier. So awesome. Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate it. Let me see.
Don't call me names.
Next question. That's how you know you've made it, right? When somebody comes on here and calls you names. Hi guys, I have 5 years professional Java experience and just got a job for .NET. Awesome. I know they're both object oriented and similar. What are the biggest things to learn / focus on for this transition?
I think you're going to have to understand what's in the .NET framework versus what's in the Java JDK. So I think that's the big thing. And I think you're going to be fine if you're coming from web development. If you're in Spring MVC, that's going to look a lot like ASP.NET. Depends on what you're trying to do. If you're building desktop, those can be mildly different. The tooling's going to be different, though the tooling's better on the .NET side. So I think you'll actually like that part of it. But in general, man, I mean, an if statements and switch statements and all that kind of stuff's kind of the same. Arrays are kind of the same. So if you know that you need to do something with an array, for example, then you can, and you don't know exactly how to do that in C#, you can Google that part. So you'll get there, especially if you Java and C# look very similar. So I think you'll be right at home. Learn the pattern that they're using. And then once you understand the pattern they're using, you should be pretty functional at that new company. Hope that helps.
There you go. Something kind of sort of high level too. Himanshu says difference between Java and JavaScript. Yeah. It's a common thing because the same word is in it, but yet they're unrelated.
Yeah, they're unrelated, people. Not even close.
Confused.
So Java is a type-safe language like C# that runs typically on the server side. It also can be used to build mobile and desktop apps. JavaScript typically runs in the browser, and it's a language we use to manipulate the DOM or the web pages that run inside there. Increasingly, it's also being used to build things like mobile and things like that as well. But one is untyped JavaScript, and it's a scripting language, and the other one is a typed language in Java and C#. So typically used in the back end, JavaScript on the front end in terms of web development. All right, cool. I hope that helps. You got something funny on there?
It's just made me laugh. Sorry. Brent, that's funny. That made me laugh too much. Sorry. I was trying not to laugh while you.
I haven't seen
talking.
that. So there's a scene where someone gets thrown out of attack. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should watch Talladega Nights. It's a very, very funny movie. It's a very funny. It's Will Ferrell. If you like Will Ferrell, it's great. If you don't, you'd hate it. Because it's this thing. It's so
I've just seen clips for Ricky Baby Bobby or the little baby.
Ricky Bobby, the little baby. It's hysterically funny. The kids, 3 ounces. Yeah, the kids in it are amazing. Everything about that movie is amazing. There's not one bad thing about that movie. I think it's a masterpiece before its time.
All right.
Okay, let's go to the next one here. Cheddar 3D Dockerized cloud hosted JavaScript calculator with machine learning suggestions. Okay. Let me see here.
That's funny.
Matthias says, I just finished my CS degree. Super good marks. Awesome. Even though I feel myself not a decent programmer. That's a little bit of imposter syndrome kicking in. Putting aside imposter syndrome in the talk, should I join a bootcamp or build projects?
I think you can do either or both. So Matthias, look in the mirror and ask yourself this question. Am I going to build these projects without the structure of a bootcamp? And that answer is either yes or no. And you know the answer to that. Then if it is, then find a bootcamp where you can build the projects. What I would say is, not to be shameless plug, our low cost entry into programming is our self-paced course, and we build tons of projects during that. So that's a good way to at least get, hey, I need project ideas. I need kind of what I need to know to what I need to build. And then you can, we give you that structure around that to build it. But whatever you do, you have to build projects, however you get there. So the bootcamp the end result should be building projects. Don't join a bootcamp. You should be building projects on your side, on your own, until you break in as a programmer. So the only way you get better is building things. So it sounds like you got the smarts to do it. So I'd just start building stuff.
There you go. Because he wants to know Entity Framework or Dapper.
I'm a fan of Entity Framework. Used both. Dapper's simpler, but smaller. I'm sure you'll see it here, as a lot of people in the comments will have it either or both ways, or use both. I will say that Entity Framework, you'll see that in the large companies, so it's something to know. I just think you might see both.
Okay. What are our members' perks? The biggest member perk is extra luck. Yeah. The biggest member perk that we have is extra luck when we do the giveaways. Because you get extra luck in the Nightbot giveaways when we do give away something. That's the biggest one. Yep. You get emojis too, and at some point we may do if there are enough members. And we may do a members only stream or something.
Yeah.
So it's more just a way to support us on YouTube more than anything. That's
yeah. So if you can think of a good perk, we'll let you. We may add it. Yep. So if you got good perk ideas or you've seen other channels, let us know.
Yep. Mostly it's just a way to just perks. That's it. Let me see. Sean says, learning how to manually inject JSON response from API into an HTML table. There's an easy way to do this, right? With a bootcamp started with manual injection with looping in JS. Injecting a JSON response from an API into an HTML table. What's the process there?
Maybe. I use so we'll probably do something similar like that not from an API, but I know how I would do it. I would pull that API back, and then I would put that into an object, and then I would take that object, and if it's an array of objects, I would loop over that, and I would use templating to inject it into an HTML table.
Did you do this with something else? Have I seen you do this before?
Superdog does it.
Superdog, that's it. I knew I'd seen that.
It doesn't use an API, but I create my own objects.
Right.
Yeah, and so basically what I'm doing, Sean, is taking a template, and this is hard to explain live. I'd have to show you. If you want to reach out to us on Discord, we can show you kind of what we're doing. But like, basically, you clone an HTML element, and then you apply the values, whatever your object is, to that template. So if it's a template row, you'd have tr/tr, and then from that, you would map the correct column to the correct object you want. So look at Fizz Buzz as one example where we do it. We're using templating and the early ones. So should help.
Another benefit.
I don't know if there's an easy way.
Yeah, another benefit we didn't talk about. With every membership.
Little pixel action.
You do have to buy them.
You can't get a discount.
You can't get a discount. The link is down below if you're interested. But it's not.
I saw someone buy some the other day. It was pretty cool. Like, so now they're on the CF glasses. So that's
there you go.
Cool, so.
There you go. I love mine. Like, I just went for watching the screen. Like, it's great because I don't wear my non-prescription lenses, so you can get them if they're non-prescription lenses. They're just blue blocking glasses. They work great. Let me see. Next question. While we're talking about this one, I'm going to put it's a little bit out of order. But why use Entity and Dapper when you could simply write store procedures from scratch?
So you need to call them from something. And typically, Nicholas, you would be using Dapper or Entity to call the store procedure. That's definitely valid. You can do that. And that store procedure returns an object, which you map into Entity and then use it. So the reason you wouldn't directly call the store procedure directly with something like ADO, the way we used to do it, is because we want our systems to be agnostic towards the backend. So if that backend has to change, our system runs on objects, and it's not in these direct connected database type ways. So it makes a cleaner separation of concerns when you're doing it that way, specifically from MVC and from my approach. So, and then your front end operates on objects and not on a direct connection to the database, which is also, there's a security concern as well.
Isn't that like a SQL injection issue?
You want to avoid those kind of things, yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the first things that hackers will look for because it's super, super simple.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that we don't write storage procedures anymore. Sure we do. But Dapper says take that result set or entity and pull those result set into an object, and then the application operates on that object. So hopefully that helps.
Okay. Let's see. Zahin, thank you for the question. What aspects of web security should I look at when moving a website to a professional level? What sort of layers of security should I have, and what attacks should I protect against? So kind of related to what we just talked about.
Yeah, so there's 10 things, WASP. You can go look at those, look at the 10 things that are, there's top 10 things. You can go Google this, the top 10 web security concerns you should have. Number one is SQL injection. So like if you are constructing SQL statements in code and you're just like concatenating strings together, that means that someone can literally run a SQL statement in there. So you need to protect against that. Obviously, securing your views or your controllers based on roles and authentication. So that's the thing. If you want to have, if you have an admin section and they have to be logged in, you got to check to see if they're authorized. And so you need to make sure that all of the potential controllers, or if you're using REST services or whatever, or pages, that those pages can't be accessed unless you check off first. So other than that, you need to look at things like cross-site scripting is another one. So like, let's say they have a form on the page, and can someone mock up a form on another website and post to that form? So the answer is they should not be allowed to. And so those are three that are off the top of my head, but look at the top 10 web security. I think it's WASP is the word of it. I think I'd have to go Google it.
Look.
Or WASP. I'm not sure.
It could be OWASP, Secure Coding Practices.
OWASP,
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Here we go.
Yeah.
I think it's this. Look, let me put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Secure Coding Practices Quick Reference Guide. So there you go.
Yeah, I would definitely be reading through this.
I will throw that in chat too.
Yep.
Let me put it back. There you go. Throw it in chat too. Cool. Okay. Well, the next one we have here. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about this real quick. Martin says you mentioned something about self-paced courses. Does that mean somebody in Africa can actually enroll, or is it strictly US citizens? It is for the world. You can enroll anywhere, Martin. And it is this link right here. And I will also
anywhere around the world. Yeah, so like that's why we wrote it, so that other people could get to it.
So yeah, you can take that from anywhere. Okay. Talked about this the other day, but let's talk about it again because it's still a hot topic. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Wrong one. You think GitHub Copilot will be good or bad for the job market?
I think it's not going to be bad.
Right. I think it's good. It's another tool you can leverage, right? To
maybe.
Kind of
I don't know.
Be
like,
productive.
will people actually use it, or is it just going to be in the way? I haven't used it yet to say, like,
Yeah.
Because sometimes autocomplete is just like the worst of bane of your experience on Twitter. Like you have autocomplete and suddenly you have a malformed tweet out there you have to delete.
So I saw a video.
So I
saw a video the other day. I haven't watched it, but I saw it was out there, and it was somebody who was giving GitHub Copilot a bunch of coding problems, I guess, from some other platform, and they said it did a good job. I didn't watch the whole thing or whatever. I didn't watch the video, but the overall consensus was that it could solve these problems. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
Okay.
So
yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it's just gonna be another tool that you could use.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's not going to take your job, put it that way. We talked about this the other day. It's not Skynet, which is coming soon.
Yeah, we'll beat it though. Won't last long.
I'm under the foot of Skynet. Bobby's like on the back of like the Terminator, like trying to attack it, and I'm like under the foot of it. If somebody wants to Photoshop that'd be great.
Yeah.
Danielle wants to know, applying to an apprenticeship program where they provide a strict resume template, should I include my portfolio as a job history?
Oh, well, they don't allow you to put a portfolio in their application?
Wow. I would shoehorn it in there somewhere for sure.
I would shoehorn it in there somewhere, job history somewhere like that.
Somewhere near the top. Like my name. I'll replace my name with it. Like, you want them to
projects, look at it. Website. I'd have to look at. I'd be surprised. I'd like to know what the apprentice program was. If you don't mind hitting us up on chat, we'd like to know and see kind of what that looks like.
Yeah, seems a weird thing not to give you that option to include that.
Yeah,
but there you go. Let's see. Isha wants to know, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Isha wants to know what technology is very good to start learning as a beginner.
We think full stack web development's the best job in the world. It has the most at most places. So in general, when you're learning how to code, is figuring out what you want to build and then learn the things that can get you a job building that. So if that's web development, you're going to have to learn JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. So I would learn a skill to build something, not just to learn how to code, because coding by in of itself doesn't lead to a result. So if you're building desktop apps, learn how to build desktop apps. If you learn how to build web apps, learn how to build web apps. I think that's the mistake people make. They learn Python because they say it's easy. Well, that's silly. I mean, why are you going to waste your time if you have no desire to go into building, things with Python,
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You have to think about your reason for, like, the answer to this is, what is your reason for learning to code? If it's purely academic, then the answer is it doesn't matter. Learn anything.
But don't expect that to lead to a job.
Exactly. If
so
your answer is get a job,
eventually you're going to be called on to build X, build this for me. And then you need to be able to know the skills and the tooling around that to be able to build that. So, and just build an app. And website, if you don't know where to start, I think full stack web dev is where to go. The web development is the way to go.
And there's a million places you can look at just simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript stuff.
Right.
Including our course, but there's a million other places too. Another shameless plug.
Exactly.
I'm going to have a shameless plug count on this thing. I think I'm going to start putting it up
they're
there.
going to do it for us. Like Nightbot's going to have it in there. We need to put the shameless plug in Nightbot.
That's it. I'll just hit a button every time I mention it. It's going to tally up on the top of the screen somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Atref, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. I probably didn't, but React or Vue in France.
Just look at the job boards in your area and see what they're hiring for. Talk to a recruiter, see what they're hiring for, and then learn the one that's most in demand. You know,
talking to a recruiter is a good way.
React's probably larger than Vue. I may like Vue better, but like as far as market penetration, React's probably. But I've never tried to find a job in France ever. So like,
right,
that's just my gut feeling. But like, just look and just see kind of what people are using.
Yep.
Talk to a recruiter and they'll tell you what they're hiring for.
Yep.
And it may be both. It may not matter. But I know that React's larger than Vue.
Exactly. Kev's asking if we need
mods.
We have a few. We do have some. Yeah. But I'm assuming you're volunteering.
Strict interview process, though.
I'm assuming you're volunteering. I see you here all the time. And because you're asking, I'm going to make you a mod. If you don't want to be a mod, I'm just going to remove it. But there you go. You're now a moderator.
Plus, you have a name, Kev. It's like Kevin.
We're kind of reuniting. We're like, we're uniting. It's the Kevs together.
He's a mod now. So
I like it.
Don't spam and don't call me names. That gets you out. Yeah,
that's it. And I'm assuming you're volunteering, so hence you're now a mod. So congratulations. Thank you. Let's do this last one, and then we'll jump off here. So Nab wants to know how to network in the tech industry as a college student.
So I go through this a lot, like how do you network in general. So I think that there's a couple things you can do. Number one, I think you can tweet about technical topics and write blog articles about technical topics. They don't have to be groundbreaking. They don't have to be PhD level. You could talk literally about coding challenge. You can talk about how to define a let statement in JavaScript. Doesn't really matter. Follow people on Twitter that could hire you and then get into their mentions. You definitely would need a LinkedIn account in the US. I'm not clear on that in other countries where how LinkedIn is valuable. Here in the US, LinkedIn is a must. And if you are somewhere else, then you need to like find the social media that's relevant and that where you can follow people that could hire you, interject and be nice on those platforms. And that way you can bring awareness that you're a candidate. Make sure you have a great portfolio that you can point people to and projects that you can point people to and write technical articles. That's how I would do it. You know?
I think you hit on something there that you kind of glanced over.
Friends in college too, and they may work somewhere and say, "Hey, man,
definitely
you got to hook up at the place you're at." You know, so
definitely that. You kind of said something. It was just like you said it, but it's like I think it's the most important part of it, and it is like it's be helpful and be good. Don't be negative. Yeah, because that will one day come back and bite you, guaranteed.
Yeah. So I think like for example. Let's say you're on Twitter and you see the article is HTML programming language and you flame the guy for saying you shouldn't list it first. I think that's bad. I mean, like, especially that the guy that wrote it is, he's a leader at the company that he's at. I don't want to go into this thing because he was like regretful that he ever wrote the tweet, but he had 72,000 engagements. It was crazy.
Wow.
And his advice was right. His advice is exactly correct. It's just these people want to, so you know, if you flame this dude and then suddenly you're applying at his company,
right. It's not a good look, is it?
I wonder if he's gonna like look at your resume. No, not that he's taking names and like writing them all down.
No, but he may remember you though. What if you've got a unique avatar or something? Yeah,
he'll remember like, oh, that's the rude guy on Twitter. You know, like so. Like, I think instead of getting our point across. I think it's okay. I mean, I saw a young college student talking about security when he was wrong. And then these people just flamed this person over like he was trying to like, you know, tell people bad practices, you know? And so instead of them being helpful, they were very super, super negative, you know? And it's just like, the more negative you are it just reduces the the sphere of influence that you have.
Yep.
There's a lot of people out there that are super negative and they seemingly build up followings around being negative, but I promise you they're not influential.
Right. Yep.
They may be popular, but they're not influential.
That's 100% true. 100%. That's exactly it. Coca-Cola's never going to come along and be like, hey, you'd like to be our spokesperson. That's never going to happen to that guy or girl. Ever.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
So
yeah. In our industry, I see a lot of tech guys that trade on the negative, and it's just like, it's just, you're never going to be influential, So, I mean, I don't know. And when they call for videos, like, just, you can tell they just search for the negative aspect of anything.
Yep.
Yep. The 10 ways that someone lies to you video,
Right. Exactly. Like, that's really, come on.
Instead of like making a video about being truthful, you make a video of the 10 ways that people hurt you or something. I don't know. So like, I think if you focus on the positive, be nice and be a force for good in your industry, you're going to network well. I think that'll serve you well. So
Definitely.
That's my goal. I hope that helps a lot.
Cool. Well, we're over on time, so
right.
let's rock out of here. We'll be back on Tuesday for another one of these.
Back on Tuesday, and we'll see you if you're in the boot camp. We'll see you tomorrow around 3 p.m. We'll put a link out in Zoom, and we'd like to talk to you. I think me and Jason will be there, and we'll chat on Zoom probably about CI/CD with Netlify. Maybe if we have time, maybe push something Heroku. I don't know yet. So it's something like that. It'll be live. Whatever we do will be live.
Yep.
So it could be any number of stuff. We'll plan some stuff, but we'll see what happens. This is our first one, so we don't really know the format or what the questions are going to be. So
Yep. But there will be time for Q&A. So
if you're in the boot camp, we'll see you tomorrow.
Cool. We'll see you guys later.
All right. Good luck, guys. Keep coding. We'll see you later.